So this video will be a response to a Facebook post that was put on the To-Shin Do page where Pete asked about Uke Skills. So there were a lot of great responses that were on the page, and I realized as I was writing that it was just going to take too long, so I thought we'd get a little creative and make a video out of being a good Uke. So this is Scott Akitoshi Bragg. I'm with some of the members of the Orlando To-Shin Do Club here in Orlando, Florida, and just wanted to walk you through my take on the process of becoming a good Uke and some of the skills that you develop through that process. So we'll take it from level 1 in our training. So white belt, yellow black. When you're in that level, all you're really doing is learning raw skill. Both the Uke side, so the bad guy side, and the Tori side, the good guy side. So as the Uke for a level 1 student, all you're really doing is forming positions with your body or doing specific one plane or one dynamic movements that the good guy is going to be able to defend from successfully. They're learning this for the first time. You as an Uke may be learning to attack for the very first time. That might sound weird to say, learning to attack, but there aren't a lot of us in the To-Shin Do community anyway that go around picking fights where we would have the experience of, no, this is how a body moves when it attacks someone else. And if it's not addressed early on, you can carry these qualities on throughout your entire To-Shin Do career. So maybe this video will be of service to some of you who are just starting out, and maybe some pointers that some of you might pick up on if you've got more intermediate or advanced training. So we'll start with level 1, just positioning myself as a bad guy for you to be able to successfully do something to me. We start working on timing, we start working on distancing, we start working on angling, everything that makes To-Shin Do what it is. But from a bad guy's perspective, the Uke's perspective, my job is just to lend my body so you can do what it is that you need to do and experience success. So if I'm throwing a punch, I may have to learn how to do that. I may learn what the body contorts and how it moves through space to throw this punch. I don't worry about how fast I go. I don't be concerned with how much tension is in my body. I want the only amount of attention, or tension rather, that's going to give this person the experience that they're actually working with someone. So my body stays relaxed in a very basic way, and I just provide them with knowing that someone is there in front of them. That would be the level 1 experience of an Uke. As you move through level 2 and level 3, or what you would consider more the blue to red to green, now we're starting to add a little bit more movement to it, a little bit more resistance to the movement. But still, there's a lot of training that's involved with that, because now as the bad guy, I'm learning how to take multiple hits. I'm learning how does my body really react to these things when they're hit. A lot of those things have to be taught. Not a lot of people have ever been punched in the face before, ever. And you may find as a To-Shin Do trainer that when people are punching other people in the face, they're not moving. Or when they're acting that out, they're not moving. Or their hips aren't going back when they're kicked. These things have to be taught, and when they have to be done slowly. Okay? So both partners are moving together. So as the quality of the Uke goes up, the quality of their training partner can increase as well. Because now we're still working together. I'm staying in the moment. That's a big, big part of it. Staying in the moment. And here's the big overall lesson with Ukeing after you get through level 1, in my experience, is the higher level of training that I do, the more I have to allow myself to let go and really lose, okay? Not forced losing, but really, what does it feel like to let myself have these things done to it, right? Let this body take what it's going to take without giving unrealistic resistance. And what is that? Who knows what unrealistic resistance is? We call it unrealistic resistance when a technique isn't working for us. Okay? So unrealistic resistance would be how we know, as training in this art, how a body responds when it is struck, or when the joints are put in a certain place, or when certain parts of the body are hit. Okay? We know where the body goes. So that too has to be taught. Okay? So it's big on instructors that are teaching To-Shin Do, that they're also teaching the Uke. This would be the proper response. Okay? So we're learning now, once I know what the proper response is, I have to let my body go through that process as the bad guy, right? I don't overdo it, and I don't make it underwhelming. I'm there enough as well to where the person can do the technique on me, and I can flow with them while they're doing it, okay? Now, as we start to approach the black belt level, then we can start adding in untimely, unexpected resistance, okay? And really all that resistance is, because again, it's taught, okay? That resistance comes from where would my body be if I knew now I was losing and I'm just trying to go into self-preservation mode. That's what I like to call it a lot, okay? It's my body's just going into self-preservation. Because when I start learning the timing of locks, the timing of throwing, the timing of hitting someone while they're in motion, right? Those things have to come from a sense of I'm giving in, but I'm not giving up, right? So I know that when I'm hit in a certain way, that's what's going to create my tension. And as To-Shin Do advanced practitioners, you'll end up using that tension and resistance to your advantage. I will put you in a position to where I know when you tense up, it is working in my favor. And all that has to be learned, okay? So what's the takeaway from, this video? A, there has to be ongoing, hands-on Uke instruction, okay? Constantly. It can't just be focused on this is why you're not getting the technique right. We have to look at it from both sides. Certainly it is not a cop-out, okay? We can't say I'm not doing this right because the Uke is not doing their job, okay? That's not it. But we can't ignore that either. We have to teach what is being realistic. Okay? That's why if you're wherever you're training, you want to make sure, as a point, that you get your hands on an instructor and allow them to do the technique to you. So you can feel how what this really does to a body. Okay? And not necessarily in real time. You want to go slow with it, but you want to feel it so where you know, like, oh my gosh, I feel why my hips are giving out. I feel why all my weight is on this side. I feel why at this point I would probably be unconscious, okay, with those types of things. Because that's realistic training, but we have to go slow with it. A lot of people, Carl, they kind of bang on the whole LARPing idea, this L-A-R-P, live action role play, but that's exactly what we are doing, right? Because we're learning skills that on the surface level, watching it on a video, looks like, oh, they're just working with you. And I say to that, yes, 100% yes. But unless you're there with your hands on another person, watching it from a video, it doesn't translate, right? But if you're with someone and they are live action role, I am playing a role. I'm playing the role of the bad guy, right? And the other person is playing the role of the good guy, okay? And just like a scene in a movie, things will happen. Reactions are made, right? We create the responses that lead into another response, okay? It's the Uke's job to be able to flow with that. Very, very important in your To-Shin Do training. Like I said, it goes hand in hand with learning skill and being a good guy. You must be a good bad guy. You must improve your Uke skills, in my opinion, to go far in this art. That would be the key. So we hear the word relax. That has to be taught. We have to know when the body would be tense in a fighting situation. We know when it wouldn't. Right? We know when we're attacking like Frankenstein that if somebody's doing this, they just don't know any better. Right? They have to be taught. Your shoulders would actually be relaxed. You actually wouldn't tighten up until the moment of impact. These things and much, much more. That we'll of course constantly get into as we kind of follow this path of To-Shin Do. So I hope that's helped. Hope that's helped you guys out there. Maybe a little long-winded, but I think it's worth mentioning, and we had fun making the video. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you training somewhere soon.